Hey everyone, happy Monday. Hope all is well. I wanted to give you our new build update. So every Monday, I give you an update about what's happening in the new build world. No changes in terms of pricing. Pricing is still kind of going on the upper echelon. As of October 1st, a lot of builders are using that timeline to kind of change pricing if they haven't already changed. So if you are interested in building a home or buying a new build home, you got to do something before October 1st is Thursday. So they're using that. And typically it's cheaper to buy in the last October, November, December, but that's what's happening. Today, I want to talk to you about some articles that people have been talking about this over dangerous supply. And I want to react to this article because I don't believe it at all. So I do these updates for you weekly so you can understand what's happening in the real estate market and not rely on global media or any media to talk about what they think is happening versus a realtor who is actively working in the new build market. So I'm going to show you the article. Bear with me. So there we go. Dangerous oversupply of new single-family homes in Calgary and Edmonton. And I don't know who this Moody person is. I'd like to know who they are, because if you talk to any realtors and any new home salespeople, I don't know where the oversupply is. We haven't seen an oversupply in like probably 4 or 5 months. Our market switched over to a seller's market. And the reason it's switched to that is because there's no inventory. So I'm not sure where this dangerous oversupply comes from. I'll show you. It says, this article says, home prices across Canada could tumble about 7% in 2021 as unemployment dampens the hot real estate market, according to forecasts by Moody's Analytic Incorporated. I don't even know who that is. If someone could enlighten me who that is, I'd like to know. There is no dangerous oversupply, and I don't know what dangerous means. If dangerous means there's not enough property, it would go the other direction to a seller's market, not a buyer's market. Currently, right now, for me to find properties for my clients that are good price is going to be, it's already becoming a challenge because of the lumber prices increasing costs. So all of the builders' costs are going up, and there's not as much inventory available. It says the housing market will no longer be able to escape the poor conditions of the labor market. Again, I don't understand this. Now they're saying not even the low interest rates will be enough to save the housing market. I don't agree. Our market hasn't seen a massive tumble like they've predicted. They predicted during the beginning of COVID that our market would crash, the exact opposite. And now they're saying that in 2021, there's more doom and gloom forecasts, which again, I don't agree that it's going to tumble like they think. It says it did not go into detail on how it created the forecast. So that's really interesting. How did they create this forecast? They're trying to let people know and educate them, but they're not even telling us how they came up with it. They're saying that their home price index calls for a 6.7% decrease for single family homes and 6.5% on declining condo apartments. Again, I don't understand how they're coming up with this. They're saying that even after the home shattering sales in July and August and low interest rates, that's their prediction. I don't agree with this at all. I'd really like to know where they get this from. We have such a busy market and such a hard market to find properties right now that I don't know where that's coming from. Some optimists expect this record run to continue. A survey of RE/MAX brokers early this month suggested that the average residential home price could see a rise 4.6% by the end of 2020. That to me is a little bit more feasible to see. We've seen a continually busy market. September is definitely slower than it has been. And we'll talk more about this on Thursday's market status update. But in terms of the new home build world, none of my builders have an excessive amount of inventory to give me offerings. Like I work with one of the largest builders in Edmonton and they don't have that much offerings to give me, right? So if they don't have it, how do like the smaller guys have excess amount? It's saying and forecasting that the first half of 2021, it's going to lose its momentum. So I'm interested to see if they're really right, because of course in January, February is usually quieter anyways. But they're saying now CMHC is also predicting that house pricing will fall going forward. Moody's Analytics expects that the short-lived burst of growth in the third quarter will produce too few job gains to meaningfully reduce unemployment. So they're doing stuff based on unemployment. Again, I don't know how they're coming up with all this information. They said that they watched the rebound in the summer and it reflects investments made before the pandemic. But a lot of people who bought this summer did not buy because they made investments prior to the summer. A lot of them were already planning to buy, still had their jobs, and decided to buy. Not this strange speculation. Builders have spent too much money on the products to abandon them. So they're saying all the builders that put money into projects, they had to sell them. And that's why there were so many sales. So again, I don't agree with that. They actually put less money into builds because of the pandemic. They developed less land, which is why we have a lot less opportunities to buy anything right now. And then it says, while home prices would fall in every region under Moody's model, the impact would be uneven and would favor small, affordable markets. While lower immigration may hurt condos in urban markets, Moody's suggests that buyers seeking more space may look to Oshawa, Ontario, as prices rise in other Toronto suburbs like Mississauga. So is this whole thing done to feature Eastern Canada, but they kind of threw in Edmonton and Calgary just to kind of get people? I don't know. It says their forecast hits hard in the prairies, and apparently to do with the government, to do with the mortgage payment deferrals. But guess what? That's happening all across Canada, not just the prairies. Report notes that the bankruptcy filings and insolvency proposals have been rising since 2018. Yeah, we've been in a declining market. It's not because of the pandemic. It says that they will lead to even further widening in economic inequality, including housing. While demand for single-family homes with ample space and large pantries may rise, so too might demand for smaller apartments and condos, given the struggle many families face in saving for a down payment. So they have to understand too what our house prices are compared to our neighbors to the east and to the west. Our house prices aren't atrocious to the point where you cannot save a down payment anymore. That hasn't changed in the last 6 months. So it continues to talk about if there's that vaccine, which we're not going to talk about. It's saying will bounce back in 2022. So I just have to say that I don't agree at all with this forecast. And of course, a forecast is a forecast. Nobody has a crystal ball. But I would prefer that instead of invoking more fear into people who read this and think that the sky is falling and now house prices are going to be so low because there's a dangerous oversupply of information or housing. Can you please show me where this dangerous oversupply is? Because I would like to know and find it for my clients, because we haven't found any dangerous oversupply by any stretch of the matter. Can't find oversupply of land, can't find oversupply of spec homes or homes that are going to be even cheaper than they were last year. I'll tell you, buying a house now, building now is costing you more money than it did 6 months ago. And last year was more expensive than it was this year. Now pricing is starting to go on the incline, so it will probably change, but just my 2 cents about that article. If you just tuned in, make sure to rewind and watch, but hopefully that helped you. Anytime you have a question about the media and an article, feel free to send it to me. My whole goal is to educate you with what's actually happening and what's actually selling and happening. And I'll tell you this, none of my new home build sales reps will say to you that there's a dangerous oversupply. Have a good Monday, everyone. Talk to you next week.